Yo, Yamamo Aqua Bastron Koso at the bar a POG Media. So yes, just as I feel no about over subscribe now while like a Jumedino at the American so I say Jumedino na Afofro and so answer Akaben. Please click on the notification bell and send a ID any news be able to platform so on so one dear airco and a dear air banner. Yeah, boy, and some mutu na yakosono. Akuffo ko program bi ase na enumguase a wode bae ne de anodene na owia eye Mahama project na wakan na Sam George etiemu e ka kire ne se akokra ensamo ne ba bia okeka no brono no kra oboboso no kra no why dey wati intebe ya dey kaniye Sam George interview na o reveal sansem we ya dey edi ache Ghana for say Akuffo again some of public bekan especially the State of Nations address no the buy no cramp no chrono just a dream ne katahye nyoma bebre and here him say na Independence Day intino afofi dan eguso ayedi ene minim Akuffo be ma speech bebre minim say dey ho some day ebeba because always they try to find fault with everything that he will say. So you go so idea for feed idea. Yamin sure na Ghana you go so yina ebien so ebe ka ho as a POG Media yen so ebe ka ho na ye democracy no ayede etumpon ye aim no ye the stories are emotion and ye pese the brem na monso mo ye dey monso motibinti na no nti yankon tie eyen sama Sam George edituja medamase.
Like I said when you introduced me, the president clearly is out of sync. He doesn't understand what's going on in the country. He's living in a bubble. We'd always said that the president has checked out already from the country. He's handed over power. He's literally a figurehead right now. He doesn't understand what is happening with the Ghanaian people. The real state of the nation is not what he has come to talk about, but it's about the unprecedented rates of unemployment that we have in the country, the unprecedented corruption and waste that we see in the country, and the unprecedented economic mess and hardship that Ghanaians are saddled with. I mean, yesterday was so obvious how out of sync the president is and how dishonest his submission was that at a point in time I had to help him out.
Oh, how?
Because he was trying to steal John Mahama's project, the Tema to Mpakadan Railway Project. That's a project that was started under John Mahama. The funds were secured by John Mahama. The improvement from Parliament was in 2016 with Fifi Kwete as Minister for Transport. Now the president comes to say that it is his project, and he couldn't even pronounce Mpakadan. There was Makadan, Makapa, and I shouted Mpakadan, and even with that, he couldn't pronounce it.
You can say it's a slip of tongue.
What's the slip of tongue? You've forgotten what they did in this country with Professor Mills and the company. You've forgotten? We're in this town. You claim you own the project, yet you don't even know the name of the town the project is ending in. That's how dishonest and untruthful our president is. But you see, when the president comes to stand there and talks about saying that the macroeconomic indicators are once again, I'm quoting him, he says generally the macroeconomic indicators are once again pointing in the right direction. This was on page 13 of the 20 of the Sona, page 13.
Yeah.
You know, the president and his mate, Aplanke, Bawumia, clearly are not just dishonest but very untruthful people. The president does not have any regard for us. First and foremost, every single economic matrix that you want to use to measure economic stability and economic performance, compare John Mahama December 2016 and compare now that we're talking, are in complete opposites of what the president has said. I'll give you a few of them. The currency was 4 cedis, 3.8, 4.0, thereabout, let's say 4 cedis in December 2016. Today, as we speak, it is 13 Ghana cedis. And don't forget that for over a year, Ghana has not serviced any of its external debt. Yet the cedi, in fact, in the last week, the cedi moved from 12.3 to 13. That's what has happened. And so how the president can say that we are in a positive, or we're moving in the right direction from 4 cities to 13 cities. And you know, for us to just understand this, yourself and let's just assume that your salary is 5,000 Ghana cedis. And if you earn 5,000 Ghana cedis, you are well paid in Ghana today. 5,000 Ghana cedis in 2016. Forget inflation and all of those things. Let's just assume it's the same 5,000 Ghana cedis. In 2016, by 4, divided by 4 was what? That would give you about $1,250. Today, 5,000 cedis by the 13 will give you what? 5,000 divided by 13. $384. So your salary under John Mahama that was equivalent to $1,250 is now equivalent to $384, less than $400. How President Akuffo will look you, Roland, in the face and say to you that the economy is moving in the right direction. You go judge him. You were buying pure water at how much under John Mahama? 5 pesos. Today, how much is pure water? How much was a loaf of bread under John Mahama? Today, how much is it? If your 5,000 Ghana cedis you wanted to use to build, under John Mahama, your 5,000 Ghana cedis would have comfortably bought you, at that time, a bag of cement was 20 cedis. So 5,000 divided by 20 would have bought you 250 bags of cement. Today, a bag of cement is 90 Ghana cedis. It will buy you only 55 bags of cement, the same salary. Yet Akuffo and Bawumia look us in the face and tell us that everything is well. The rate of inflation in 2016 December was 15.4%. Today, it stands at 23.5%. Food inflation alone is 27.1%. In fact, in December 2022, inflation went as high as 54%. Yet the president tells us that things are in a positive direction. In 2022 alone, per the World Bank's own statistics, 800,000 Ghanaians fell into poverty. These were Ghanaians who were not poor before Akuffo. But he and Bawumia, his head of economic management teams, poor management of the economy, made almost 1 million Ghanaians go into poverty. Yet the president looks those people in the face and tells them that we're moving in the right direction. In fact, for the second year running, Ghana has the highest lending rate in Africa. The lending rates in Ghana are higher than Eritrea and Somalia. Somalia has not had a functioning government for years. Libya is in a mess. Mali is a disaster. Yet, Ghana, for the second year running, has lending rates of 35%, the second highest. In fact, the highest in the whole of Africa. In 2016, it was 25%. Public debt. In 2016, our debt to GDP stood at 56%. In 2016, our debt to GDP ratio stood at 56%. Today, as of 2022 December, our debt to GDP stood at a staggering 103%. 103%. And this has led to us defaulting on our domestic and external debt obligations under Mahmudu Bawumia as the head of the economic management team. Never in the history of Ghana has Ghana defaulted on our loans since we started practicing our democracy. Yet the president tells you point blank and looks us in the face and tells us that we are moving in the right direction. Ghana's rating, today, international rating for Ghana is junk. And when they say junk, they mean baller.
You mean with the credit rating agency?
Yes, yes. With Dr. Bawumia, the Planke mate, with him in charge of the economic management of this country, our credit rating is baller status, junk status. That has never happened. When John Mahama was head of the economic management team, we were rated B+. Because of Bawumia's poor management of the economy and that N.Addo Akuffo, Ghana has been locked out of the international capital market. Yet, they tell us that everything is working. Look, the overall GDP growth rate in 2016, when John Mahama was handing over, was 3.6%. At the end of the first 3 quarters of 2023, had declined to 2.8%. Yet John Mahama had 1 oil well. He had developed 2 more and handed them 3 oil wells. So more revenue, 3 times the revenue that John Mahama had, yet our growth is 2.8%. The industry sector, and you see, they came and spoke 1D, 1F, and all the things, and I'm happy. The Deputy Minister for Trade is here. Sticker. 1D, 1F. Without 1D, 1F, industry grew 4.3% in 2016. With 1D, 1F, it is growing by negative 1.2, meaning it is retrogressing. Negative 1.2 with 1D, 1F. Without 1D, 1F, it grew at positive 4.3%. In 2023, it grew at negative 1.2. These are not my figures. These are the figures from the appendixes of
but the 1D, 1F industries are there.
Chief. And I'm telling you that Ken Ofori-Atta, who is now designated the Minister for Finance International, because Amin Anta is Minister for Finance local or domestic, came to Parliament with the 2024 figures. And you couldn't fix those figures because the IMF program was ongoing. And I'm saying to you that in 2016, industry without 1D, 1F grew at 4.3% under John Mahama. Under N.Addo, Akuffo, and Dr. Bawumia is grown by negative 1.2%. Manufacturing sector under John Mahama in 2016 was growing at 7.9%. Under Mahmoud Bawumia and N.Addo Akuffo in 2023 grew by negative 1.0. If you look at the construction sector in 2016 grew by 8.4%. Under N.Addo Akuffo and Dr. Bawumia, it grew by negative 5% in 2023. Nothing is growing positively in this country under these guys. Yet they come and tell you that we are headed in the right direction. N.Addo Akuffo and Bawumia have destroyed the fiber of Ghana's economy. They have sent us back to pre-Georgesburg era days because everything is in a reverse gear. And you remember, I stated before on the floor of Parliament when I was debating the 2019 budget statement, I said to them that when they said we were moving forward, as an engineering graduate, I'm taught in Engineering 101 that motion can be positive or negative. And so they have put us in reverse gear. Mahama had put us in gear 1, or Mills started us with gear 1, moved us, or let me even go back and say President Rawlings put us.
Uguswa uti ensem no edma Sam George eni juja insem edema na ya inim se Akuffo sometimes no or have a problem when speech ya sometimes obey obeka ya inim se emre bia also in 2020 mpo ni speech bia ye trema no mpo no na enye ono na ye den na o kasansam na ye kaya ibun kompa na ya America for man pani bia watwam any speech na ye kokopi ede man no na ye kan say the problem with any speech na the but sometimes no na man pani fo bi pese omo predecessors no ana so omo ma be ye biko no omo nyoma bi omo ye no omo pese omo je ema omo ho eno so na ya na entwa ye because and the politics na ye no obi obana obetwaso na we ni ye fine and do bit maka na obana we je aguo na obi de ono nso aye no wo waje say bon ho da wuro say yes de ye wo na ye wo dia na I think say no de enye de entwa ye enti sanse we ana Sam George edigu so Sam George egu e na N.Addo anima ase ma je say e ka de na nka de besi esi ba o to ansam no so nti ankone konkotie bedam ase.
In gear 1, we started moving. Akuffo came, took us to gear 2. Mills came, put us in gear 3. Mahama put us in gear 4, heading for gear 5. Then wait. Then the mate and driver Banza show up and say, but why are these people using only the numbers? You know, when you look at your gear stick, you have gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up to 6. Then you have R, which means reverse. Yeah. They say, why are they using the numbers? Me, I like alphabets. So then they put it in R and then Ziaso. So now George, we are
this
going
is where
back.
Coming.
We are reversing.
Look, the other side of the argument that is always used to counter this sort of argument you're making is that why is it that it looks like there's a certain tendency to discount gains that were made in 2017, 2018, and 2019?
What gains were made in 2017, 2018, 2019? When you take the World Bank report of 2016, when Ghana went into the IMF program in 2015, because under Mahama, we went into an IMF program in 2015. It stated clearly that we're going to grow by 7.8% in 2017 because of the coming on stream of the oil wells that Mahama had worked on. It stated in that report that we'll grow 7.8% and 8.2% in 2018. Go and take, and I can show you evidence of 2018. The rot in Ghana did not start in 2020. It started in 2018. In 2018, Gabi Ochedaku put out a tweet saying Ghanaians should be patient with government because they knew that things were tough, but things would get better. In 2018, in a town hall meeting in Koforidua, Ken Ofori-Atta, who was then Minister for Finance, stated clearly that they knew things were difficult, but asked for time to turn things around. So it is not correct that everything was going smoothly under them, even in 2017 and 2018. Look, let us be clear about this. They should tell you what they did in 2017 or 2018 that led to any of those positive
What was a prudent economic management?
What prudent economic management? the things that you inherited. It's just like Roland. You've built this show up to a certain stage with certain following. If today Media General takes you off and brings somebody who is very incompetent to run the show, the first week of the show, your ratings will still be high. Your numbers are still going to be there because the following has been built. It will take time for the eyeballs to stop following the show because the person is bomb. The person is like Bawumia. You understand me? It will take a certain period for the effect of that person's work to then be seen.
What about COVID in Russia and Ukraine?
Why?
Exogenous factors.
Why? COVID, the virus was formed here in Ghana. China, Italy lost over 3 million of its citizens. Italy's economy is not intact like this.
Supply chains were disrupted.
Why? Ghana is the only country that gets supply chains from their place. Why? Russia and Ukraine. Why? Russia is dropping the bombs in Alajo. Or Ukraine is firing its rockets into Chebi. How is it that we are not complaining? We are complaining more. We are crying more than the bereaved. But Roland, before you're asking me to wrap up, does it not strike you that in the entire SONA, and I'm happy Stika is here, the president did not address unemployment. He did not address corruption. The president was silent the entire SONA. He didn't talk about cocoa production. Zero word on cocoa production. The president was completely silent on corruption. The president was completely silent on the forex rates, the depreciation of the cedi. The president was silent on inflation. And most importantly for me, because I'm a young man, the president was silent on youth unemployment. If a president can deliver a State of the Nation address and doesn't speak of corruption because he's the most corrupt president in the history of Ghana, he doesn't speak about cocoa production because his party is involved in Galamsey that is destroying our cocoa farms because party Hiansika. He doesn't speak about the depreciation of the cedi because his vice president, who is the head of the economic management team, who told us that when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate would expose you, and lied to us that he had arrested the dollar and given the keys to the IGP. Meanwhile, the dollar is dancing. I don't know whether right now it is Amapiano or Skelewu on his head. Right now,
you can't be using some of these invectives and anecdotes.
We are sitting here. The president has not spoken, or Amapiano. One of them. You get it? And the president did not speak about youth unemployment. This is the president who promised the youth of our country jobs.
Please. Sam George.
How can this be the State of the Nation's address?
Stick up. Welcome. Deputy Trade Minister, Member of Parliament for N.Addo. And welcome. What's your own reaction to what Sam George has been saying, Dr. Stephen Amwa?
My regards to our viewers and listeners this morning.
Thank you very much.
You ask him not to use the words, and he says Skelewood and what? Ask him to repeat the insult again.
No, so I told him you shouldn't be doing that.
If you ask me not to repeat a word, then I ask you the first insolent word and then end. Just leading him on, but I think I have to advise my brother. The use of driver bansa, the insult, I don't think it's right. Honestly speaking, I could have also probably used similar words for former President Mahama, but God forbid I will not do that. Because the Bible says that we should respect the elderly, we should honor our fathers. So if you have a dissenting opinion on whatever is going on in Ghana, the use of insolent words, I will just beg my younger brother that one day he can also become a president. Now you're MP. You don't know where God will end you. And I'm sure you expect other people to respect you. The use of these words do not let you win election. And most of the things you say, please, go through the statement that the president made, whether there was nothing about CD depreciation or otherwise. It was in it. It even made it made this emphatic statement that there had been stability to the extent that depreciation over a period of time had been just about 9%. It's in it. Go and check. Yes. Maybe my brother hasn't read everything, or he's just out of propaganda machinery, wants to lie to people. Let me tell you something. The situation in which we find ourselves as a country, probably, I'll say probably because I don't have scientific data to prove what I'm saying, but probably if you have been under the NDC, things would have been worse.
I don't understand. Worse.
I'm saying that the situation we found ourselves in as a country and as a globe. Look, when in our history as a country, that people were asked to stay home, but they were paid. When in our history. When in our history, that within the shortest possible time, private sector had to sack over 40,000 people. That we had revenue shortfalls of about 12 billion. So in managing your fiscal space, we had to, as a matter of compelling factor.
And you're referring to the COVID period.
Yeah, I'm coming. As a matter of compelling factor, we had to depend on debt financing. So our debt to GDP moved over 80%. These are uncontrollable factors in strategic management and economic management. These are situation uncertainties that, sometimes it's interesting that even when the globe inflation rate was hovering around averagely 300%, and we are a dependent economy, what happened to us? Supply chain, everything. So when we get the chance to talk, don't let us, look, next time, call me. Let me bring NDC's manifesto from 2014, 15, 16, and then pick that of N.Addo. And all the salient and relevant primary macro indicators. Let's cross-check the facts he's talking about. He's with the figures and stuff. A lot of them he's just trying to deceive Ghanaians. Nobody say there's no hardship in Ghana. Is there no hardship all over the world? I import body stuff and then vitamins for my pharmacy. Some of the things that were costing me in terms of unit or item, 19.99. Within 3 months, they went to 29.99, 10%, 10 pounds, which is about 150 Ghana cedis. Our argument is that we had unprecedented situation prevailed in the world that affected Ghana. Our economy went so bad because government was not getting revenue domestically. Market activity had been impaired. People were asked to stay home, yes. So our debt to GDP went up. The only way to come back was to work on introduction of taxes that will let us consolidate our fiscal space. And then our brothers, because of their numbers in parliament, moved heaven and earth to impede any policy that would have been functional to this country, including yield levy and all of them. And Ghanaians followed. And this had been the practice between NPP and NDC, just like the VAT, which to me, we need to get away from this outmoded way of wanting to have power because it hasn't helped Ghana.
I don't understand. Are you saying that the e-levy was opposed because it was the NDC that did that?
Oh, but they started opposing. It took us almost 3-4 months for us
we
to
had
pass
civil
it.
society.
I'm saying NDC started and then it affected other external. That's what I'm talking about. Whether it's NDC or even whatever you are talking about. Our intention to capitalize on the yield market, which was booming, to get taxes, to consolidate our fiscal space was impaired. But what we are saying today is that with all the problems, now the economy is being restored because of prudent economic management of this government. Of course, inflation rate went to about 54.1% in 2022 thereabout. And by 2023 and where we have the official figures, it's about 23%. Our GDP that we targeted about 1 point something moved to 2.8%. Our current account, which is very important in managing such situations.
And the president talked about
it. It went to negative 1 point something. Now we are doing positive.
Joe Nyaminshaw se Uguswa Oshe POG Media. Mr. Safin Waba, subscribe, like, Jumadi, and message Jumadi and my. We also want to click on the notification bell. The Sunday DNA News be at a platform. The Sunshine will include the Echo and the Air Banner. And some no Nina and Pompons who you know, the father by you know, Swati, I say, oh, Ghana POG. Ya the papa pa bede ebe bremo so POG ya the papa pa bede ebe bremo koso na hwe dwumadie no koso subscribe like dwumadie ne mai na click on the notification bell no so send be ya de any news be able to platform so so hunu de eko ene de banti de aye no de ya de mo besi akoso na hwe ye program no mai ya be wish mu nyina mo a happy Independence Day. A big can see any independence being so can say, but all the same no. Yenya ye Independence Day in the day, ye best celebrity at the Amamuntino, young Koso, na yen share a POG Media, the Akanian at the Barber some Yadamasi.